Well, good to see everyone today by video. Always glad to see you anytime. But a little exercise in new math today. I don't know about you, but I seem to not totally understand what the new math is about. I have a granddaughter who is doing homeschooling once a week at our house, and I haven't quite figured it out yet. But there's a kind of a math issue going on in one of the stories that John tells in his gospel. And let me read through the story and then go back and point out what I think are some of the interesting facts. This comes from John chapter 6. I'm going to start reading with verse 4. And it kind of goes along with the post-Easter idea of Passover. Now the Passover, the feast of the Jews, it was at hand. And Jesus was therefore lifting up his eyes and seeing that a great multitude was coming to him. So he said to Philip, "Where are we to buy bread that these may eat?" And this he was saying to test him, for he himself knew what he was intending to do. Philip answered him, 200 denarii worth of bread is not sufficient for them, for everyone to receive a little. One of his disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, said to him, "There is a lad here who has 5 barley loaves and 2 fish, but what are these for so many people?" Jesus said, "Have the people sit down." Now there was much grass in the place, so the men sat down in number about 5,000. Jesus therefore took the loaves, and having given thanks, he distributed to those who were seated, likewise also of the fish, as much as they wanted. When they were filled, he said to the disciples, "Gather up the leftover fragments, that nothing may be lost." And so they gathered them up and filled 12 baskets with fragments from the 5 barley loaves, which were left over by those who had eaten. So, can we feed them? That's the question that the disciples are asking Jesus when he invites everyone to sit down for a meal. And if you do a quick calculation of the 200 denarii, that's probably about a day's wages, which, let's just say for practical purposes, the equivalent of about $100. Now, obviously, that would not buy enough for everyone, even to have just one small bite of bread. But here's what Peter or Philip did not factor in. He didn't factor in Jesus. And there's a key to the story there where Jesus is kind of setting up the disciples, because he said, set them all down so we can feed them. But he knew exactly what he was going to do. And he was testing the disciples to see where their faith was. And obviously it tells us here that Philip and Andrew, they didn't pass the test, because they were pretty much exactly sure that there's no way that this can happen. So I'm wondering, how many times when we have a problem, when we face a problem that seems almost impossible, how many times do we fail to factor Jesus into our problem? Here, these 5 barley loaves and 2 fish fed well over 5,000 people. There were just 5,000 men. If only half of them had their wives there, that's 7,500. And if there was at least one child for each group, that's well over 10,000 people that were fed. So never look at a problem as impossible, because the Bible tells us all things are possible with God.